All right. So yesterday, and in this previous Rainbow Body Yoga session, um, I was discussing two different bodies, Dharmakaya and Sambhogakaya, body of emptiness and body of light. Interestingly, you know in Buddhism, compassion is a masculine. It's a masculine, has masculine quality, and wisdom has feminine quality. But in in Hindu Tantra, it's the opposite way. I was told by someone earlier this week that it's we were discussing it, and in Taoism it's the same, that it's the opposite way than in Buddhism. And well, that's a whole different discussion. But all things have both aspects, feminine and masculine. But so I guess it's kind of a matter of how things are set up, really. But nevertheless, we have these two bodies, Dharmakaya, body of emptiness, and body of enjoyment, or body of bliss, or body of light. And we have, in Buddhism, we have different practices for both of them. And also, the first stage of Buddhahood, or 11th Bhumi, purification of the first 10 Bhumis, 1 through 10, is achieved through emptiness, seeing emptiness, releasing that self-charge from all mind phenomena that takes place and happens day and night in our subtle body. But interestingly, there is this, Buddhism has different types of vehicles. So there is, some people think it's a derogatory term, but I don't think it is. But there is this small vehicle, Hinayana, and there is Mahayana, great vehicle. And the main difference between those two is that in Mahayana there is the motivation to attain full enlightenment, Buddhahood, for the sake of others. This is the main engine, really the engine, the motor in Mahayana practice. And that is not there in Hinayana. And so in Hinayana and Mahayana, in terms of emptiness meditation, Vipassana practice, there is no difference. No difference whatsoever. But the thing is that bodhicitta enables insight in a very different way than what is possible without it. Did that sentence make any sense? So, bodhicitta enables insight that goes all the way to Buddhahood. It enables seeing subtle mind phenomena empty. And that's not there in Hinayana or Shravakayana, which is also called Shravakayana. So that's an interesting thing, that we need that compassion, we need that bodhicitta motivation so that we can advance all the way in selflessness, emptiness practice. Isn't that interesting? You can't. You simply, if you don't generate bodhicitta, you just don't see. You're unable to perceive subtle obscurations, subtle distortions, subtle selfing in your system. So, and that's why there is difference between small vehicle and great vehicle, Hinayana and Mahayana. So it is said that there are 3 ways to attain Buddhahood, which are Sutra, Tantra, and Chokchen, or Ati-yoga. So these are just different methods, different ways how Buddhahood can be attained. Sutra, which is obviously a non-tantric method. There is Tantra, where there are guru transmission or empowerments from the guru, or a teacher who represents a guru. And there is Chokchen, and Chokchen is also a tantric method because it's based on empowerment transmission. But potentially, also sutric method potentially has the potential to take one all the way to Buddhahood. Although I think that I don't know how long it might have been since any sutric lineages or methods spat out fully realized Buddhas. And I don't mean it meanly, I mean it in a completely pragmatic notion that, I don't know, it has probably been quite a while. And it's in Tantra, it's looking at Tantra, like a wider field of tantric practice. But even if we look at Buddhism alone, there's Buddhas, realized Buddhas coming out of tantric methods all the time. Yeah. So anyway, I was talking about these two bodies, and yesterday I said in our session when we started, I said that we would give attention to both bodies, body of emptiness and body of light. And yesterday evening we had a wonderful session where I pointed out both of these, and let's do the same in a bit different way, but same. So yesterday in the session, as I often do, I was speaking of the three basic qualities of our basic nature: knowingness, cognizance. It's called Rigpa in Tibetan. That our awareness, our mind has the quality of knowing. Usually we use that knowing all the time. We watch television and there is that knowing function. It goes unnoticed, but there is knowing of watching the television. There is knowing tasting coffee or tea. There is knowing in all actions. But here, the basic cognizance means, for starters, we need to recognize it alone without without any external objects, just the basic knowing itself. Knowingness. And it makes our mind clear. Clear like a perfect jewel. As I'm describing these things, there are two components to this. The first one is verbal description, and the second one is energetic transmission. That is, both are taking place simultaneously. So if you don't get it through the words, You can feel me sitting with you. If you have 11 bhumis open, then you know when the first Mahasiddha bhumi opens, then you no longer ever need to seek for that basic knowing quality. It's always there. Never goes away. Even if you try to shoo it away, it won't. And that's the gift of one of the gifts of opening bhumis. And then this knowingness is alive. It's full of energy or energetic feel, quality of compassion, love, kindness. So it is not cold or distant or knowing that is indifferent. It has warmth. It cares. It's the original warmth, softness in us we are talking about. And then the third one, settledness, groundedness, unshakable groundedness. Like a, like a feel can be compared to a mountain that can be pushed over. Firm foundation. Someone who is traumatized or let's say has panic attacks or anxiety should meditate on this third quality of the basic state, groundedness, again and again and again. You know, this groundedness establishes basic safety, which is not there if one is traumatized or has anxiety attacks, panic attacks. So it removes these negative programs. And as I briefly mentioned yesterday, you know, we have a whole set in YouTube of these teachings called Tantric Trauma Therapy. I would recommend anyone who has like big issues with anxiety or trauma to look into those. But yesterday I gave the whole thing in a nutshell with the simple inquiry or question that one can do on meditation, in meditation, that do I feel safe? Does this feel safe? When somebody have anxiety or like fear that persists, trauma, it means that the guard is up. So we get the guard down if we feel safe. It's that simple. So three qualities: knowing quality, loving quality and grounded quality. All three together. These are three facets of the same basic nature. More love, people. More love. Yesterday I briefly described that love is magnetic. It's kind of gluey. It glues things together. So when we recognize the second aspect as love, it feels like the whole body becomes unified or glued together. It glues bits and pieces of our mind, of our psyche together. what is happening here is that, together we generate this energy that we all can probably feel. And as we keep practicing together, session after session, it will not only that we can see this pure body. Yesterday I was talking about two different aspects of energy channels or the subtle body. So it's not only that the pure body shows up, but also there is some pressure on the samsaric traits, on that aspect of channels that is stained. So consequentially, when we practice like this, we should be present and aware what is happening in our energy, what is happening in our mind with thoughts, emotions, subtle energy that doesn't have form. Completely aware and present of all these mind objects. Mingling the two bodies. And when we do that, then these impurities are released, senses of self are released. So we might it kind of feels like finding a vein of irritation or fear or just crazy anger or something. We come across these different stuff that is stored in our system. Simply be present and aware of those. stay with me as if we were sitting across a coffee table. Stay with it. Lie down.